What's up, guys? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Labib Chabanet. I'm a luxury barber here in the Dallas area. I've been a barber for about 6 years, and this is the story about me. So as I said, my name is Labib. In about a couple weeks from now, I'll be hitting my 5-year mark since I moved out here to Dallas, Texas. And I came from a small town in New Mexico. I grew up there. I moved there from Canada, grew up there for about 15, 16 years. My dad is a professor over there. I finished high school, I was going to college, and I just kept bouncing from major to major. And I had no idea what I wanted to do. So my dad came up with the idea that maybe I should try going to barber school, because he knew that I'd be a person that would not be good working underneath someone. He knew that I had the entrepreneurial mind from the beginning, so he suggested barbering. At first, I did not like the idea because I didn't think barbers made any money, but I decided to go with it. Went to barber school. The way it works is like we went 3 semesters. The first semester was just about like theory, so we weren't cutting any hair. So what I was doing outside of that, I was cutting up like my brothers, my dad. I had a couple friends that would let me cut their hair, and to be honest, there was a couple friends that I'd have to like bribe to let me cut their hair. Like I'd buy them lunch or dinner or something like that. Yeah, it was pretty rough. It took a lot of convincing, but whenever you're starting out as a barber, you just kind of have to do whatever you got to do to just get the reps in, right? So I went to barber school. I ended up falling in love with barbering. You know, this was when I was 20 years old. So fell in love with barbering, graduated from barber school, and I started working in this barber shop that was like a barber shop / tattoo shop. They did tattoos in the back of the shop, and the barbering was in the front. So when I started at the shop, our haircuts were like $18, and it was mostly like a walk-in shop. They didn't really do appointments there. There was one like head barber. He had been there for about 4 or 5 years. And then there was another barber. He had just graduated barber school a year before me. And then there was me. So it was like that for a little bit. But by the end of my time there, I was the only barber there. The main barber got kind of into it with the owner of the shop, because he didn't like that there was 2 other barbers there now, and we were all kind of like competing for the walk-ins. So he ended up leaving. The barber that had been there, that graduated barber school a year before me, he ended up leaving. He didn't feel like there was enough walk-ins for him. So there I am, like 6 months out of barber school, kind of running a shop by myself, right? And that's kind of where my barbering career started. What ended up happening was we were located right next to the university in the small town. So I ended up cutting up one of the football players, and he loved his haircut. He went back to his dorm, and then the next day he brought all of his football friends, and that's how I ended up cutting up the whole football team. And it started up some issues in the town, because I started taking a lot of the clientele of all the other barbers who had been cutting there for like 20, 30 years. But, you know, just that's how it works, like in a small town. A lot of competition. A lot of the other barbers, instead of everyone being like on the same team and trying to level each other up, there's a lot of shit talking. Everyone's trying to like keep each other down, unfortunately. So I realized that I'd have to leave at some point, which I ended up doing probably a year into it. I ended up packing up all my things, and I moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, which was about a 2-hour drive. But what I ended up doing was I scheduled a haircut appointment with one of the top barbers in Albuquerque. I scheduled a haircut appointment just so I can get in his chair. And when he was cutting my hair, I disclosed to him that I was thinking about moving up there, and I would like to have a spot in his barbershop, which he ended up loving. He was intrigued, because he thought it was pretty cool that, you know, I ended up booking an appointment just so I could talk to him about these things. We had a good talk, you know, the whole time he's cutting my hair. I ended up making the move about 2 weeks later. I just packed up all my things, ended up moving there. Actually, before that even happened, when I was cutting in that barbershop, It turned out that every time I was paying rent to the owner, this is back in my small town, the owner was not paying his rent or his utilities. So and this is probably what like prompted me to want to move, was the lights went out. I was cutting hair one day and the electricity went out. And me and the client were like, what the heck just happened? But apparently the owner wasn't paying the utilities, wasn't paying the rent. He had been backed up for months. I was paying my rent to him, but he wasn't paying his rent to his landlord. So that's probably what like started. I'm telling you, there's just so many things going on in that small town. Like barbers hating on me, the shop owner not paying his rent and stuff, and then just the fact that I never felt like I belonged there. I always felt like I was meant for something more. You know, I feel like everything happens for a reason. That's why like those things happened, and I just ended up getting all my things and moving to Albuquerque. So now, here we are in Albuquerque. This is about, like I said, 5 years ago now, it's about to be. And I'm cutting hair there for a couple months. And funny enough, for those of you who don't know, Albuquerque is where they filmed Breaking Bad. It's one of the most dangerous cities in the US. Like they're always in the top 3 in carjackings in the nation. I'm telling you, it's so dangerous. Funny enough, my barbershop, maybe the first few weeks I was cutting hair there, somebody broke into the shop and they stole all my tools. It's so funny because it's like I was the only barber whose tools got stolen. I don't understand. But luckily for me, the owner who cut my hair and I introduced myself that way, he really liked me. We built a pretty good relationship. He ended up replacing all of my tools for me. It was close to like $600-700 worth of stuff. He replaced it for me that same day. So I was able to get back and start cutting hair. But to be honest with you, I wasn't doing too well in Albuquerque. I ended up getting a apartment that was a little bit too expensive for me. I couldn't really afford it. And the shop that I was working at, it was only appointments only shop. So the owner owned like 3 or 4 barbershops, and all the other 3 were all like walk-in based, and you can go there as a beginner barber and you could build up clientele. But the one he put me in was just appointments only. It was his newest shop, and there was about 5 barbers in there. They all were booked out like every day. They had been cutting hair with him for a few years now. They all had their clientele. So there was me sitting in this shop for like maybe 10-12 hours a day, sitting across one of the busiest barbers there. He'd be cutting like 13-14 heads a day every day, making so like stupid money, and I'm just sitting there for 10-12 hours, maybe do 1 haircut a day. So what I ended up doing was I started door dashing on the side. I'd go in the shop, sit there for about 4 or 5 hours, most days not even have 1 walk-in come in. Then I'd get up, I'd go DoorDash, I think like StubHub. It was StubHub back in the day, and do that for a few hours, make $50-60, and I'd go back to the shop, sit there for another 4 or 5 hours. Lucky, if I was lucky, maybe 1 walk-in would come in, and then go back. And I did that for a few months, and my dad ended up coming to visit me, and I'll never forget it. That visit he did kind of changed my whole life, because he saw how miserable I was. He saw how sad I was, and he came up with the idea that I should probably just look for something else. So he had been coming out here to Dallas because I have a cousin out here. I have one cousin. She recently had a kid, so my dad would come out here to visit her and check up on her. And her husband owned a flooring business. So I remember my dad had just came back from Dallas, and my cousin's husband told my dad that if I wanted to move down to Dallas, he would teach me the flooring business and I could do barbering on the side. He ended up convincing my dad, and my dad, he's always looking out for me. He's the one that told me to go to barber school. He told me I should move to Dallas, Texas to learn the flooring business and do barber. He's like, it's a win-win, right? So it didn't take too much convincing. I didn't really like Albuquerque. I never really liked New Mexico that much growing up, I'm not gonna lie. I just never felt like I fit in, right? So, I called my cousin, spoke to her husband. I think like a week later, packed up all of my things. Like my parents literally helped me shove all of my belongings into my small Toyota, and I set on my way. I think I left August 31st, 2019 at like midnight. Got here September 1st, maybe 10 a.m. or something. I can't remember, but September 1st, 2019 was my first day in Dallas. And my cousin had found me this apartment that was a 1-bedroom, but there was about 5 of us living in there. I'll never forget it. Like, I was the only person that had the bedroom. We were sharing 1 bathroom, 5 of us guys. You walk in the living room and you see, like, this guy has a mattress in this corner of the room. This guy has a mattress in this corner of the room. Like it was just, I have no idea how I went through that. But that's where I was living. I hated living there. Dallas was very hard for me because right away, whenever I moved down here, my cousin's husband basically lied to me. He didn't have me working with him in the flooring business. He had put me with one of his other business partners who had just started a office supplies company. So what they had me doing there was had me on the, I was working in the warehouse. So I was their warehouse guy. So I would stock the shelves in the warehouse, go pick up and deliver supplies, and I hated my life. Like, they had me working 8 to 5 every day. They wouldn't give me a lunch, and I think they had me like at $500 a week or something like that. But what my other job was, my cousin found me this all Arab barber shop where I would go from 6 to 10 every night. So at this Arab barber shop, I became known as like the American guy because all the other barbers were straight on Arabs. They'd only been in the States for like 3-4 years max. Like, they would speak with broken English. They'd smoke cigarettes like after every client. They were quick. They were fast. They do like 20-25 heads a day. This is back when it would take me like an hour and a half to do a haircut. So I remember working in this Arab barber shop. The head barber came up to me one day and he's like, "Hey, listen, if you want to make money in this business, you're gonna have to get quicker. You're taking too long on your haircuts. It's not gonna work for you." But I didn't listen to him. I always told him and all the other barbers there, "Hey, I don't care about the speed. I care about the quality of the haircut." I think that's something that's helped me in my barber career is I've always cared about the quality instead of the quantity, right? Because the way it worked there is we're splitting 50-50 commission with the owner. We're charging $20 a haircut, and then $30 for a haircut and beard. So realistically, you're only making $10 for a haircut, $15 for a haircut and beard, plus tip, right? So in the barber's mind, they wanted to get as many people in and out so they can make more money. Me, I didn't care about the money because at that point in my life, it was kind of my second job. So anything I was making was extra in my mind. But I hated working at the warehouse so much. Once I built up maybe like 10-15 clients, I ended up quitting the warehouse. And then, funny enough, maybe like a week or 2 later, one of my boys, his name's Mauricio, he walks in the shop and he's looking for a haircut. And it was my turn to do the walk-in, so I get him in my chair. And it's funny because here we are 5 years later, and he's still one of my closest friends. He comes to get his haircut every week. He's my cameraman sometimes. He's the one filming these videos every now and then. But he came to get a haircut because his barber couldn't get him in. And what happened was he had told me he was a leasing agent at an apartment complex. So I think his second or third time getting his haircut from me, I had told him that I was looking to move because I was tired of living in a 1-bedroom with 5 people. And the craziest thing was he told me his roommate had just moved out the day before, and him and his girl were looking for someone to fill that room. So what intrigued me, I was a little bit iffy about it, but when I went to go visit, he told me I can go check it out. I would have my own bathroom in my own bedroom, which is the first time that would happen in like 6 months because I lived at the other apartment for 6 months. And it was only like $100 more than what I was paying already. So jumped on it right away. I think I moved in like a week later. And it just ended up working out because COVID struck like a month or so after I moved in. And it worked out perfectly because I was able to do haircuts in the bathroom. So all of COVID, I'm cutting hair in the bathroom. I think I was charging like $30 or something like that at this point. Luckily, because we live in Texas, the COVID restrictions only lasted like 5 weeks, 6 weeks, right? Like a month and a half. And then they started letting people go back to work. So I told myself when COVID ended, I did not want to go back to the Arab barber shop. I wanted to find a different barber shop. So my boy Mauricio, who was my roommate at this point, he had told me I should go check out the barber shop he used to go to. So I went to go check it out. I spoke with the owner. They too did 50-50 commission, but I told them, hey, if you want me to come work for you, you have to give me the opportunity to one day rent the chair here. We went a little bit back and forth. He wasn't too okay with it, but at the end he finally agreed to it. So I started 50-50 commission just like every other barber. This is like a big shop. This is a 23-person barber shop. They were charging $25 a haircut and $35 haircut and beard. So I already had to upgrade my prices by $5. I did take some of my some clients with me from the Arrow barber shop. They stuck with me, and I started just building out my clientele from there. A month later, I went from 50-50 commission with the owner to 55-45. After that, I went back to him and I was like, look, I'm not really doing any walk-ins. I need a little bit more percentage. So he told me 60-40. I stayed at 60-40 for maybe 3 weeks. And then I just went to him and I said, look, either you give me the chair or I leave, basically, right? And he agreed to give me the chair. This is a 23-person barbershop, guys. And I was the only barber in there renting the chair, which means what? Which means I get to set my own appointments, I get to set my own schedule, and I get to set my own prices. So from that point, I was charging $25 a haircut, $35 a haircut and beard. I worked my way up all the way till I was charging $50 a haircut, $60 haircut and beard. And that took me about 2.5 to 3 years. And I'm the only barber in the shop that is booth rent, the only barber in the shop that is charging $50 a haircut, $60 haircut and beard. I was twice as booked as everybody else. I'm also the only non-Hispanic barber in the shop. Everybody else was from Hispanic origin, whether they were from Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, Salvador, like everyone only, like most of them only spoke Spanish. They didn't even really speak any English. Luckily for me, I learned Spanish when I was 5 years old, so I'm pretty fluent in there. I got by. I learned even more Spanish just working there. But it took me a few years to just like build up my clientele here, my presence here in Dallas. And I feel like that shop did help me do that because the owner gave me the opportunity to go booth rent, which is not very common out here. But I just love that experience because it taught me so much. It's crazy working in a 23-person barbershop and you're the only one where the people next to you are charging almost half of what you're charging, but you're still getting just booked out. They're seeing you in and out, people coming in and out, while they're just like sitting on their phones, or the owner put a PlayStation in the back. And I remember the guy next to me, he'd be playing PlayStation for like 6 hours a day. Meanwhile, I'm cutting people in and out. And then towards the end of the day where everyone's leaving, that's when he would start cutting hair. Like his clients would come in like mad late. It'd be like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night when he'd get his first few clients. And he'd be telling them, yeah, I've been cutting hair all day. Little do they know he'd just been playing PlayStation all day, right? I was the one next to him cutting all day. We'd be the last ones in the shop because his first appointments would come in at 7:30, 8:30. Everyone's already gone. Me and him were the only ones there. I'd stay there till maybe 10 o'clock at night and then I'd leave. Some nights I'd be the last one there, some nights he'd be the last one there. But it's different, right? Because I'd be the last one there when I'm cutting from the morning to night. He's the last one there just starting at night, right? So I did that for a few years. I've made it a point to be like first barber there, last barber to leave. And I think that's what it takes to really build up your business. I missed out on a lot of things, a lot of events with friends. I wouldn't go to parties and go do social events because I would always put work first. But you know what? I can look back now and say it was all worth it because after about 3 years of working in the shop, I decided that I wanted to go get my own suite. So I rented out my first suite. It was like a 120 square foot room, no windows, nothing, just 4 walls. And it was about 20 minutes away from the barbershop. And what I ended up doing was I moved 20 minutes away and I raised my prices $20. So now at this point I'm charging $80 for haircut and beard and $65 for just a haircut. And to be honest with you, this was like the best time in my barbering career, because I was only paying, I think, $80 more for my rent than I was paying the booth rent at the barbershop, and I had increased my prices $20, and I kept maybe like 75-80% of my clients. So I was just like making money. Like, I was just basically printing paper at this point. It was amazing. Like, when I look back, that's my favorite time of my career, when I first got my suite. Stayed in that suite for about 6-7 months. Then I got this suite here. This is the biggest suite that they offer here at my salon suites. It's supposed to be a 2-person suite, but I wanted it for myself, so I ended up having to sign 2 different leases to get this suite. It's the first suite. Whenever you walk by, it's storefront. It has a big window here. I had to sign 2 different leases to get it, and I've been here since about December, so it's about to be like 8 months that I've been in this suite, and I raised my prices to $100 a haircut. So now currently this is where I'm at. I'm charging $100 a haircut. I got an apartment that's like right across the street. This is like the Galleria area in Dallas. It's a pretty premium spot. I got a mid-rise apartment. I got the top level corner apartment, just how I wanted it, with a really nice view. And it's just cool to like look back and see where I started, where I came to Dallas, living in a 5-person, 1-bedroom apartment, charging $20 a haircut in an era barbershop, doing 50-50 commission, to now leasing a 2-person suite, working by myself, storefront, the biggest suite they offer, charging $100 a haircut. And what I recently started doing was, I am now teaching other barbers how they can do the same, right? I have a few students of my own that I'm trying to help them elevate their businesses, scale their prices, make more money into their businesses, get new clients. And now what I'm also doing is I'm working with beginner barbers as well, trying to get their skill sets up, trying to get their skill level of cutting hair, doing beards correctly, showing them how to take proper content to get new clients. So it's been a journey, man, and I'm so happy with how everything turned out. You know, I'm a firm believer everything happens for a reason, and I'm just so excited because now I'm also working on opening up my own suites. If you guys didn't see my last video, I was showing kind of like a tour of the space that I got now, and they started construction now. It looks a lot different now. Probably gonna do a video on that later on, showing you guys the updated version. But those should be opening up within the next few months, hopefully before the end of the year. And I'll just move from this suite now to having my own suite in my own suites, where I'll be leasing out to people in the beauty industry, barbers, estheticians, cosmetologists, just anyone who would want a suite that's very premium experience. You know, it's gonna be completely different than most suites. Like, my suites here are nice, don't get me wrong, but my suites that I'm building out are even nicer because they're in a high-rise building on the 4th floor, so it's like in the middle of the building, and you just have views all around. We're gonna have crazy lighting, and just the floors are gonna be amazing. It's just gonna be a vibe just even going in there. And like I was saying in my last video, what that allows the professionals to do is they're gonna be able to charge whatever they want to charge because of how premium and like exclusive the experience is to the clients. So that's why I love that I'm doing this next instead of doing like a barbershop, like what typical barbers would want to do. I want to just involve everyone in the industry, you know, in the beauty industry, because now I could tailor to them exactly whatever they want, right? I know what they want. I know because I've been working out of a suite now for almost 2 years, year and like 8 months, right? So that's given me the experience that I feel like I needed to now know what I need to do whenever I'm building out my own. So that's the next few steps for me. I think that, you know, I'm just loving the journey, and I'm loving the growth, and I'm just going to keep going as hard as I can. I've hit $100 a haircut now, but I think the new goal for me is to hit $200 a haircut. And hopefully that'll happen within a year. That's the goal. As well as just working out of my own suites and just leasing out suites to the people in the Dallas area. So if you're in the Dallas area and you would like a premium location, good looking suite and you'd want to come, and it's gonna be affordable. It's gonna be good prices. Like the suite that I own that I'm at right now is crazy prices, probably because it's a 2-person suite, but it's just so crazy expensive. But the suites that I'll be offering will be at an affordable level, just so that you can come and really build up your business, build up your career however you want. So if you're interested in that, just, you know, leave me a comment down below, let me know. You could always just follow me on my socials. It's always Labib's Cuts on everything, Instagram, TikTok. Shoot me a DM if you'd like to connect. I'm always here and happy to connect with any barber that's willing to, you know, just level up, elevate their businesses. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This was my story from beginning to where we are now. Please just like, follow, subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions. I always look forward to hearing everything. But for now, that should be it. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.